Disabilities Issues and Updates on BCTV is supported by the Berks County Center for Independent Living, Abilities in Motion.
Good morning and welcome to Disabilities Issues and Updates. I am Russell Faulkner, your host. I am also the Consumer Community Outreach Coordinator at Abilities in Motion. We are located at 210 North 5th Street, Reading, Pennsylvania. The zip code is 19601. If you'd like to speak to me directly, my number is 376-0010. My direct extension is 108. We want to remind you in this coronavirus time that you can contact us at Abilities in Motion on our social connection line. Let's get started with our show today. My guest today is Beth Sadison, and our theme is Disabilities at Play. Hello, Beth, and welcome to our show.
Hi, Charissa. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so the reason I believe I'm here is back in 2004, I was very active, teaching and working out 5 days a week. I was very active teaching group fitness and working out 5 days a week and working a part-time job, very, very busy. And then I decided to accept an offer to go to Daytona Bike Week in Florida. And so I had a great 24 hours until a traumatic accident happened. So that was in March of 2004. So it has been quite a journey for the past 16 years, and it's not all been bad.
I think one of the things, Beth, that we could do, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So we're going to tell your story through pictures.
Okay.
We're back. We have our pictures up. Tell us the story.
So I was on my very first trip to Daytona Bike Week in end of February, beginning of March 2004. And I had just started riding my own motorcycle. So my boyfriend and I decided that we would just take his motorcycle to Daytona and I would be a passenger because I was not familiar at all with the area or the amount of traffic. And I was a relatively new rider, maybe about 2 years in on my own motorcycle. And so we were there about 24 hours and we decided to go explore.
Okay.
So the one thing I wanted to do was go to this place called the Cabbage Patch. It's an outdoor kind of a biker bar, and it had this event called coleslaw wrestling. And so I was like, yeah,
sounds interesting.
coleslaw wrestle, yeah, right? So we headed on some back roads, which my boyfriend at that time thought would be much less traveled. So there wouldn't be a lot of traffic. He knew some back roads to get there. And we came up to a place in Holly Hill at a red light, and we slowed down. We were right behind this Pepsi truck,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just about at a stop, and I heard him say, can I say it?
Yes.
I heard him say, and
Ooh.
yeah, and I was like, I had no time to even wonder why he said that. The next thing I recall, I think I recall lying on the ground. Don't remember much after that point. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we were right behind this Pepsi truck. If we were 2 seconds further ahead, we would not be here today. So, we were hit by parts of a motorcycle that had already done this damage to the truck in front of us. It was a V8 chopper, and it ripped the rear axle completely out of this Pepsi truck. And
That's the motorcycle?
that's the motorcycle, and that is a Canon V8 chopper, they call it. It has a V8 engine, much that you'd see in a very large capacity towing heavy-duty truck. And it was on 2 wheels. And it's not an uncommon bike. It's a very dangerous bike, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So this motorcycle, the builder is the gentleman behind the bike, and the gentleman sitting on the bike wanted to test ride this bike. So this bike was being ridden by the builder
Mm-hmm.
to a place where there wasn't a lot of traffic. So this gentleman could test ride it.
Wow.
And they were at,
So we know, Beth, that there was an accident. There was
Yes.
an accident. You were involved in that accident. What was the result of the accident that affected your life?
so I woke up in the hospital, and the doctor came in and said, "We fixed your elbow. Now we need to talk about taking your leg." Well, I said some words that are not allowed on
On television.
and I said, "I don't think so." But so I was in Halifax Hospital in Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was wonderful, but I was, they weren't taking my leg. There was no way.
So,
I ended up after about 9 days in Halifax, I was flown back to Hershey Medical Center in a medical Learjet flight,
mm-hmm.
flown back to Hershey, and immediately was met by surgeons and folks there to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
So probably about the 20th day, the surgeon came in and said, "You need to make a decision."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm 38 years old, and I'm pretty used to having 2 legs, and I can't even imagine not having a leg. So I spoke to peer support people who lost a limb, people who didn't lose a limb. I just tried to do research and got opinions of my friends and my family. And one night in the hospital room, I had my God moment that said, "Let them take it, it'll be okay."
So you had that God moment. You decided that it was okay to take the leg. I'm sure there were many, many emotions that you went through from that time moving forward in your life. What were some of the emotions that you felt, Belle?
Well, at that time, I'm very much of a realist. And so I just kind of, every day, I just went along with what had to be done on that day, just kept moving forward. And I was pretty good. With the help of chemicals early on, I was okay. But after a time when I realized that I couldn't get up and walk around, there's so many things we take for granted. So many things, like when my elbow, I couldn't even do my hair. It took forever to get my hand and my arm in this position just to back to my face. So I thought, gosh, I can't even do my hair. I had to have my friends help me. But losing a leg, it wasn't as devastating initially, to be honest with you, until I had to fight with my insurance company to even get a prosthetic leg to walk with. I mean, I was very active. So you can imagine going from 5 to 7 days a week of exercising and being active to here I am in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I mean, that's what it felt like. So I became in a very deep depression back then.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Well, we definitely want to let our viewers know Beth moved forward. You moved forward. You dealt with your obstacles, insurance, and all of that. You moved forward. There were issues concerning you getting the prosthetic, but you did get that, and you moved forward. let's show our viewers how you moved forward. What year, Miss Beth? So the accident was 2004, and this picture is what?
2005.
And what are you doing here, Beth?
I am teaching Silver Sneakers Group Fitness. It's
Wow.
active, older adult group fitness class, which I still teach today to about 30 people at a time.
Wow. So you moved forward, you have the prosthetic on, and it's amazing. You're helping others, even in their life, moving forward. You're encouraging them to move forward.
I feel that's what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
No matter what your situation, no matter what hand you're dealt, I believe that we're all in this to help somebody else.
Wonderful. Ah, this is an interesting picture.
So this is on one of my many motorcycle trips. I ride my own motorcycle, and this was at Wheels Through Time Motorcycle Museum in Maggie Valley. And the owners, Dale and Trish Walsker, they have this obviously vintage prosthetic leg, and every time I visit, I am allowed to find the leg and then re-hide it. So I was in the process of taking it, yes.
Wonderful. Oh my, you dress up very well. Beautiful picture.
Thank you. This was at a veterans recognition dinner late last year, I believe. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you. A program very near and dear to my heart is called Wreaths Across America, where we place balsam wreaths to represent a veteran's service and sacrifice every Christmas holiday season. So this was me, obviously on a rainy, snowy day in December, placing a wreath and speaking to a gentleman who was also there to place a wreath.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, here I am. I climbed up on the back of that deuce and a half. Mission Barbecue was opening a new location in Harrisburg, and I sing the national anthem quite a bit, and so I was asked to sing at their grand opening. Those are the owners and the founders of Mission Barbecue.
Was it difficult climbing up into that big truck?
Well, no.
No.
No, because there's little black ladder steps, and I did it, and there were probably like 6 people behind me just in case I fell, and if I go down, we're all going down.
Wonderful. Oh, this is a beauty.
Oh, that is my first trike, my first Harley Davidson motorcycle. And right before I left for Daytona, before the accident, I picked out a 2-wheel Softail Standard. It was my first Harley Davidson. I had it, hey, this is the bike I want. I'm going to Daytona. When I come back, we'll handle it. I'm going to pick this bike up. So obviously that did not happen. In fact, I called them from Daytona and said, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
After,
what made you so interested in bike riding?
I wish I knew. It's always been something I loved. I can't remember the exact moment.
Mm-hmm.
I used to ride on the back with friends, and it became a pain, if you will, to find somebody to ride with. So I decided I'm going to get my own, and that's when the journey of me riding my own began. And today I have about 150,000 miles on 2 of my own trikes.
Right.
Yes.
She's on her way.
So that was, I believe, last year at Wreaths Across America headquarters up in Columbia Falls, Maine. I am on a special wreath advisory team for over 2,000 locations throughout the country. I'm one of the representatives, and we were invited. Now, this may look bad. This is the second time in my life I wore shorts on a motorcycle. I know people will yell at me. Shorts and sneakers are taboo if you're riding a motorcycle.
Okay.
And that's my belief also. But it was about 80 degrees, and having a prosthetic leg above the knee is not easy to just change from pants to shorts.
Uh-huh.
It was a very short ride, and I am wearing a helmet, so I know it. I shouldn't joke about it, but the only other time in my life I wore shorts on a motorcycle was the day of my accident.
Wow, wow. You bring up a good point there. Is it easy to like transition from long pants to short pants having a prosthetic?
No. So for me, no. There are different components of prosthetics depending on how long your residual limb is.
Mm-hmm.
And so mine is fairly long. I lost my leg right above my left knee.
Okay.
So some prosthetists say that's good, and some, well, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it's bad, but it also doesn't allow you to have some components. Like there's a component of a prosthetic where you could bring the leg, you could bend the bottom half of the leg forward and make it easy to change your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Usually at the beginning of the day, I have to know what I'm doing that day and decide what I want to wear.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There are times that absolutely I have to come home and change, get a shower. Like after I teach my classes, I'll come home, change, get a shower, and take my leg off and change, dress my leg, and then put it back on. So, but once I have the leg on, I can go from shorts to long pants.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay. Okay. Let's
Right.
continue with our adventure.
Okay. Oh. That was my first motorcycle on my first long ride to the Union Hotel down in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Big, popular motorcycle spot. It's probably about an hour and a half from where I live. It was a nice ride, but that was my first trike.
Mm-hmm.
Picture before is my current bike that I have now. So, yeah.
Now, Beth, when you go and travel, what are some of the things you have to pack? And is it easy for you to pack the things on your trike?
When I travel, like if I'm going overnight, if I'm staying overnight, which I do a lot, in the beginning, I found these crutches. They're kind of like shepherd's hooks, and they fold together like a walking cane. You can fold a walking cane together. Mm-hmm. Much like that, but back when I bought them, they were over $300, and I had to have them because I was traveling. So they fold up and they fit in the back of my motorcycle in the trunk area. Mm-hmm. Thing I have to take with me many times is a shower chair. So the base of the chair fits in the trunk, and then the legs come off, and I just put them in among my many, many, many other things.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, this is a beautiful picture.
Oh, that was 3 years ago. I got to lead a group of 3 friends out to Sturgis, South Dakota, and beyond. And this was at one of the points, one of the lookouts. There were so many beautiful scenery places, and it was July or August, and there's snow on some of the mountains.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Oh, this is one of my favorites. So I was the leader of Ladies of Harley at our local chapter for a couple years, very involved in encouraging women to ride motorcycle. And this was me leading the ladies down the Tail of the Dragon, which is it's a very popular ride in North Carolina, Tennessee. It kind of borders mm-hmm. those states, but it's a really good shot because it shows me leading the ladies down this. It's 318 curves in 11 miles.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, oh, it was great. Yes. Oh, well, another Ladies of Harley adventure, zip lining. The funny thing is, the guides were great. When they harnessed and suited us for doing the zip lining, they had no idea I had a prosthetic leg, and I just didn't feel I needed to mention it, right? If it became a problem or I got stuck, I might have, mentioned it, but I thought, why? So there I was, ziplining. It was great. I would absolutely do it again. And that was one of the lower, there were points that were hundreds of feet in the air, and it was great. But only when they came to get the gear, like the straps and all of that. The one man must have touched my leg or felt something, and I saw his face, and I went, oh, I have a fake leg. And he just looked at me like, I can't believe you did that. And why not?
I can honestly say you are very adventurous.
And I'm not done. Oh, my gosh. Yes. This was on another motorcycle trip with my friends. It was Chimney Rock is the name of it. Mm-hmm. And you climb a bit. There's a lot of walking, and so I did. But the outlook or the overlook and the view was amazing. Mm-hmm. And so, I had to get a pose there. But my friends kept going up to the top of Chimney Rock where there was an American flag. Mm-hmm. But I know my limitations, and if I had done that, it would have affected me for a few days. So I stopped there, and they continued on up to the top.
So we're looking at a beautiful pose, but I think what you're really doing here is resting.
You caught me. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, oh, my goodness. This, I did a Segway tour with, again, my Ladies of Harley. We went to Gettysburg, and we did a tour through the battlefields, and it was marvelous. And this was difficult, and I had to stand right next to the leader. I had to be right next to him in case anything happened. It was we had to go through a little test site. Like, you had to go ride this before they let you out into the actual trail. So you have to have really good core strength. And because of my exercising, I had some really good core strength, balance. And we stood there taking a little break, and the leader took a sip out of his water bottle. And I thought, oh, it's a great idea. I'm kind of thirsty. So I grab my water bottle. As I'm taking a sip, my Segway starts to roll away.
Oh, my.
And he says, where are you going? And he was very calm. And I said, I don't know. Oh. My girlfriends are laughing hysterically. I kind of threw the water bottle. Here, hold this. And I grabbed my Segway and came back in line.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
You even ride horses?
I do. This is my Annie. So yes, I do. So dear friends of mine in North Carolina, where I go at least once a year, they got me, and this isn't the first time, but they got me on regular horseback riding. Mm-hmm. So they put stairs where I can mount. Of course, I have to get up differently than most people. So I have to have stairs when I get up and when I get down. Mm-hmm. And this was one of the first times I was riding Annie, and I got her up on the box. I think she's sticking her tongue out there. Yeah. Horses, yes. Oh, there's Annie again. Yes, down in
wonderful.
North Carolina. Yes.
I did want to ask the question though. When you go horseback riding, you have to have a step to get on or steps to get on the horse and off the horse. Did you ever have to advocate for yourself when they didn't bring the steps or didn't get the steps for you?
Yes, very good question. I believe it was on a trip with my Ladies of Harley sisters, and their young folks were kind of getting us on and off the horses, and mm-hmm. told them that I would need a step to get on. Mm-hmm. And so the group was accommodating, but when I came to get off and I had to dismount, they said, oh no, we can't do that. It'll scare the horse. Oh no, wow. And so I said, well, then could you please get your boss, because that is the only way I'm getting off this horse. It would have definitely scared the horse more had I tried to just get off regularly. I could have fallen and spooked the horse even more. Right. So I did. I had to make a little stink, and they ended up bringing steps.
But it was a stink because of the fact you needed it to be independent. And so our viewers need to understand it is okay. It is the right thing to do to advocate for yourself in order for you to be more independent.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. All right, what are we doing here?
Okay, so the snow is from out west, and it's one of those times somewhere in July that there was snow on the top of the mountain, and I had to get out and play in the snow. So it looks like I said, people say you have a beard or a chin beard. I say, no, that's actually an intercom headset that when we're on the motorcycles, we can talk to each other. So
wonderful.
I had to play in the snow. And then the other picture is a dear friend invited me on a scuba diving trip to Bonaire, which is an island where scuba diving is the main sport, recreation. And this was one of the nights we went to dinner.
Wonderful, wonderful. You look wonderful. Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness, you're a climber too?
Well, this was in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and this was, I want to say in like 2005 or 6. It was not, that was my first leg. And we were climbing up the old ruins, some of the old buildings in the old history part of San Juan, which was absolutely amazing. And I was determined to do it. And I did it. I think I was taking a break here.
Really? You did it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, picture perfect.
Oh, thank you. So what you can't see is my left leg. I do not have my prosthetic on. I was swimming with the horses in Bonaire.
Mm.
The funny thing about this is I'm scared to death of water, and I can't swim.
Uh-huh.
But I love horses, and I could just, you kind of get, we were on a ride for quite a long time, and our break was that the horses would swim in the water, and we would get to swim with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very comfortable on this horse, and it's a good thing.
Wonderful.
He was moving. Oh. And so I'm afraid of water, and this is when I got my first leg, my prosthetist's wife
Mm-hmm.
down in the Ski-Doo, and it looks like I'm comfortable there, but I'm probably hanging on for dear life, even though there we are at the dock, because I can't swim. So later I did go out by myself.
Mm-hmm.
She got me out there doing it, and they were so encouraging for me to do different things.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So the paddleboard, I rode my motorcycle to Pensacola, Florida, and I was visiting my girlfriend, and she loved to paddleboard. She says, come on. And, most of my friends don't look at me as disabled, and I never want anybody to see me as disabled. I am differently abled.
Mm-hmm.
There are days I feel disabled, and that's behind all of this. There are days. But we went paddleboarding, and she said, oh, don't worry. The water, you can't drown. You can't drown. The water's like not even 2 feet deep. Oh, piece of cake.
Mm-hmm.
Got to tell me was we had to paddle over the channel where the ships went, and it was hundreds of feet deep. Oh, I mean, I just got a little panic and again, I was probably saying some not nice words at her, but we kept going, and I got there. Very relaxing.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I didn't stand up, obviously, but good exercise. And then the other picture was just earlier this year. I took my granddaughter and her mom and dad to Disney right before this coronavirus, and I thought, oh no, but there we were, and walking around in my leg. I did use the wheelchair for 2 days. I knew that there was a lot of walking, so in that instance, sometimes you just can't be too proud. You just I've met a lot of people, and I've been able to help a lot of people who are losing limbs or have lost limbs.
Mm-hmm.
you can't be too proud because it will confine your life. I use a cane when I need to.
Mhm.
Just recently, because we're housebound, I see everybody walking, and I just want to get out there and walk, but I had a problem with my prosthetic. It had to be adjusted, and I just had knee surgery. So you know what? I took my wheelchair out after a couple days of being pretty low.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm going out. I took my wheelchair and I went probably over a mile at one point.
So I like that word you used, Beth. You said you were feeling low. You were feeling low, and so there are many of us that in our lives situations come and they make us feel low. And I'm so one of the things I've heard by interviewing you, you give back. You actually give back, even in what other persons would think was a terrible and a horrible situation. You actually have become a certified peer support person. What made you do that?
So the Amputee Coalition of America, the prosthetist actually introduced me to that group. And they send out a magazine. They've got great resources, and you can actually speak to somebody about what you're going through. What's it like to, many different things, really as simple as going to the bathroom. How am I going to do this? How am I going to get in and out of a car? Just simple things up to some other very personal, intimate things that, oh my gosh, life as a differently abled person, how am I going to do this? And so I felt that I was going to use what happened to me to help others. And I've been able to meet a lot of great people. There are some people I've talked to that just don't have the either the support or the strength or whatever to get them out and living life. And I think when we spoke earlier, something that I tell myself, because I'm very guilty of, I have excuses, and those are my excuses. If you let an excuse confine your life, you're missing out on so much more. Find a different way, find something else to do, and reach out to someone. Even if it's just a friend to talk to. Nobody wants to admit they need help. I mean, if you would talk to my friends, they could tell you I am very independent. A guy said to me he wanted to help me move my motorcycle one time. Well, a couple times, and I was like, nope, I got it. You find ways to deal with what you want to do, or you do it differently, or something new.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for being our guest or my guest today. And we so appreciate your pictures and your story and your encouragement. It was just really, really encouraging. I just want to let our viewers know we're going to end our show, but Beth is on her way to take a ride. Enjoy the day and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for being our guest, Beth.
Thanks, Teresa. Thank you.
In closing, we want to remind our viewers, if you'd like to connect with us at Abilities in Motion, call us on our social connection line. Be safe until next time. Bye-bye.
For the past 30 years, Abilities in Motion has followed alongside trailblazing disability advocates, from early advocacy efforts in our community to providing avenues to independent living for people with disabilities across the region. Thanks to the ADA and tireless advocacy efforts, people with disabilities enjoy a quality of life many never dreamed was possible, and access to public life through meaningful employment, government services, telecommunications, education, and public accommodations. Celebrate the 30th anniversary of the ADA with us using the hashtag #ThanksToTheADA and tag us on social media. Abilities in Motion remains dedicated to promoting independent living for people with disabilities in Berks County and beyond.
disabilities, issues, and updates is supported by Abilities in Motion.